Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 29 of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. Go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was the direct descendant of the sage, and enjoy that guys over on Anime King. And I'm going to be posting a brand new episode over there of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning. So stay in tune for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto came face to face with Mito, Haku, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Team 8 and Chio, and he simply walked away. That surprised him a lot. After all these years, he didn't say anything, he just walked away. Mito and Haku quickly went after him, but the others were stopped as they still had a mission to do. Going inside, as Gaara lay there, Sasuke decided to end this quickly so they could go after Naruto. As the battle inside started, as Naruto was stopped by Mito, who wrapped him up in chains. As they started to talk to him, like everything was normal at first. But his response made him rather angry, as the both of them end up slapping him across the face when he told them he never cared about either of them. He simply stood there unfazed, as the both of them looked at him. They asked him then why was he still wearing the necklace. He still had the necklace around his neck that said greatest big brother, and not to mention the necklace that Haku had given to him, as it had a crystal in the center, as she was able to use her bloodline to create something everlasting as long as she was there. As he was still wearing the both of them, they asked him why was he still wearing them if he did not care anymore. He didn't have an answer for that. They were going to bring him back home whether he liked it or not, as they tried to force him, but they quickly came to realize that they didn't stand a chance. Even though they weren't using everything they have, Mito was far from going all out, but he was still beyond powerful as he was slapping their attacks away like it was literally nothing, showing them that they were still not strong enough to beat him. He simply flew away from them, as when he arrived, Sasuke, Guy, Kakashi, with all of them there, the battle was able to be mopped up rather quickly as Sasori was taken care of. Deidara was losing. He didn't care anymore though, at least he would go out in a splendid art, as he removed the threading from his mouth in his chest. As he started to feast on himself, he started to turn into a small ball. Sasuke was about to stop it when Naruto came and grabbed it. He simply threw it straight up in the air as it exploded. Even though it's a distance away from the ground, he still shook the ground rather terribly. As they asked why did he save them if he did not care anymore, he told them he didn't do it for them. He just did it for a challenge. After all, he could see that Uchiha has gotten stronger, and he could tell what he was hiding. Well, Sasuke did not show it, but Naruto could tell. And he was just waiting for the opportunity for them to get even stronger so he can test himself. After all, the most he wanted was a good fight. And with that, he simply flew away in a tremendous burst of speed, and he was gone. As Mito fell down once again, she was unable to stop him. Chio came over though, as she told her that whoever he was in the first place, he was not gone. She could read people very well after all. She's rather old, she had picked up a thing or two along her way, and she could tell that boy, he was not gone. They should just keep on trying. Mito wasn't going to give up, but it was just hard. Chio decided that it was her time. After all, she's lived a rather long life, as she gave up her life to bring Gaara back, which she did. The group then spent a day at the Ascent, the memorial of Chio, and Gaara thanking them as well, as Naruto was left furious, as he didn't know why he couldn't find himself to do what's need to be done when it comes to these people. he simply flew back towards his palace. The group went back to Konoha as they discussed it with Snazzy, as Snazzy knew what Hagoromo said was true after all. If the man that was supposed to be the god of Shinobi world told them that their strength would never be able to defeat him, they had to find another way. A week passed, as the girls were at the hot springs. When it was finally time to go home, they were all walking. Before they separated though, they were all surrounded, as it was some man in black clothing. But it wasn't him that they had their eyes on. A man with white hair lowered himself. He was dressed in royal clothing as he looked down at them. He apologized to Hinata and told her that she was needed, as they didn't know what the hell was going on. But all the guys in the black clothing attacked. So yeah guys, those basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across to the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? A massive explosion went off as Mito slammed a Rasengan into 3 of the puppets. These men in black clothing, they were nothing but puppets. Hinata, she screamed out. At the moment, Hinata was being carried off. Hinata couldn't feel her chakra. It was like it was suddenly sealed away, as that guy had came and placed a blue orb in front of her, and it was just gone. She was being held by one of these puppets as it was carrying her away, as he held on to her tight. But Mito was hot on his trail. Back at the village, there was nothing but mayhem, as these puppets had swarmed the village in a rather large group. The guy from before that came for her was gone. He just seemed to vanish, as Mito extended chains from all part of her body. She was like a porcupine as they skewer and rip through the puppets. She had enough as her chains raised up in the air and smashed down on the ground, destroying it. She moved off with a burst of speed as she pulled back her fist, slam. She smashed it right in the man's face. Hinata started to fall as she grabbed her by the hand and flipped, landing on a nice sizable chunk of stone. Hinata looked up. "Are you okay?" Mito asked. "Yes, I'm fine," she said. "I see that you have stopped the pursuit," a voice said. Mito quickly looked up. "You. What do you want?" she asked. None other than Toneri Asusuke stood there. He looked towards Hinata first, then back towards Mito. "You're quite powerful. I can tell that you're hiding what you truly possess as well." As he spoke, his eyes were closed as he looked at her. "But you are still not enough to defeat him. None of you are. I am the only one that can stop him." But he looked around. Despite his eyes being closed, he just turned. It seemed that the prophecy had passed. This world is not deserving of what it got. Humans just continue to use chakra for nothing but bloodshed and destruction. That is why. He then turned towards them as he started to move forward, only for him to leap back away from a sword slice from Sasuke, who landed right between them. "Sasuke," both of the girls said. As Toneri just looked at him. "You still won't be enough to stop him," said Toneri. "Who are you talking about?" "Naruto Asusuke. You know my brother?" said Mito. Toneri looked at her. Despite his eyes being closed, a look of surprise on his face. "Your brother?" "Yes, my brother. What does he have to do with you?" "I assure you, girl, he is not your brother. This man, if you can even call him that, is a creature of malice, of hate. A creature that only brings death and destruction. And he will have to be extinguished from this world for there to be a new one. A world of peace. Everything has to be extinguished." "And you think you can beat him?" Sasuke said. "Like you, if you know. I know about the great, immense power that he holds. So for that exact reason, I've been preparing myself." He then looked towards Hinata up and down. "You are the chosen one, Byakugan Princess." "Byakugan Princess?" she said, confused. "With your help, I shall create a world of nothing but peace. To stop mankind from ever using chakra for violence and suffering ever again. I'm sorry, what I have to do?" "What are you talking about?" she said. He looked at his palm. "It's already done. I will be back for you, to bring you away from the carnage that will happen. For now, goodbye," he said. Before Sasuke could move, he was already gone. He just vanished out of sight. What does he mean by already done? Said Sasuke. Time skip. Mito was in the office along with Hinata and Hayashi and Sasuke. Kakashi was in there as well. Tsunade was behind her decks. And you're saying she got kidnapped? Yes, Lady Hokage. The same guys that attacked the village earlier. They came in large amount. And they kidnapped Hanabi. Hinata had tear lines going down her face. Show that she has been crying. As she blamed herself for this. Tsunade clenched her fists. Who is this guy anyway? Asked Tsunade. These guys are just puppets, said Sasuke. The one that is controlling them. He has something to do with Naruto. The way he speaks of him, it doesn't seem like you like him all that much. It seems like he wants to kill him. Yes. He said that my brother has to be stopped. We have envoys out searching for him right now to find him and rescue Hanabi. But we have no idea where he went. Mito looked towards Hinata as she could see that she missed her sister. She had to do something. What if we go talk to my brother? He must know something about this. Even if he does, why would he help us? Asked Tsunade as she looked at Mito. I'll make him help us. Tsunade looked Mito up and down, knowing that this might be the only way for them to find out what happened. And this guy saying that he wants to cleanse the world. Talks like that was never something good. Alright, if it will get Hanabi back. Thank you, Lady Hokage, said Hayashi. As Tsunade turned towards Mito, as she released a sigh. Alright, let's ask him, she said. Meanwhile, that was going on the moon. As Toneri looked at the relic from the Osusuke, the eye, to help the moon gravitational pull. As pieces of the moon had already started to break off, as it was surrounding the earth, Toneri was going to use those meteors to destroy everything. But he knew that Naruto Osusuke will have to fall by his hands. He's been living by himself for years now, alone up here. He's been training. He knew this strength. They were all told to him from his ascendants how powerful he was. And he was not to be underestimated. That is why. He's been waiting, practicing, making sure that he was ready. And with the help of the Tensegon, he will be able to bring him down. He looked down towards Hanabi. She was currently unconscious. He knew that this has to be done. It has to be done. It was the only way. Humanity has once again used chakra for war and destruction. They were told by Hammer that if Hagoromo failed, if his dream of humanity failed, he wanted them to destroy the earth. Yes, to stop everything. And he believed that it was time. Time and time again they have shown that war, they take chakra and use it as weapon. Endless war. And the good would have to fall for the bad, because he would have to end it all. It was the only way. Time skip. Mito was determined as she made her way along with Sasuke, Kakashi, and also Haku. Haku never thought that she would see him again so soon, but they were going directly there. They had to pass through the hidden grass first, and then pass through the land of bears to make their way towards the Osusuke Empire. But it's not like they could just go to the Osusuke Empire like that. After all, the place was carved out into the side, and you have to get past the bridge, which was always guarded. As recent scouts hadn't even gotten near before they were stopped. On the threat of being killed, they had to turn back, as those ninjas didn't take lightly to anyone invading the border. But Mito didn't care right now. She has already seen that her brother had given them an order not to attack them, so she was going straight in. They were not hiding. As the group made their way, they were currently running. Kakashi felt it instantly. They were being watched, but they were not being attacked as they passed through the land of grass. The moment they reached a border between land of grass and land of bears, several ninjas dropped down in front of them. All of them were in black, with the sign of the Osusuke Empire on the front of their clothing and on the back as well. Sasuke, Sharingan activated as he looked over them. He could see it, a small haze of Naruto's chakra. The quantity that he had inside his system, it had years to multiply and twist into his own chakra to enhance and evolve him. As his training had pulled off well than he expected. But these guys had a small quantity. It was like Naruto had shared it with them, but only for the purpose of making them a bit stronger. As he looked towards the first one in the center who stepped forward. Halt. You are not allowed to pass this area. Go back where you came from. Mito stepped forward, not waiting for Kakashi's authorization. I'm here to see Naruto. Tell him, I want to see him now, she said. As the man looked at her up and down. No, he said. Mito clenched her fists. I don't have time for this. Hanabi, we don't know what that guy is doing to her. We have to move. As she walked forward, Mito said Kakashi, but she did not stop. Haku walked forward as well. Kakashi sighed. As he moved forward, Sasuke moving forward as well. The guys looked at them. The one in the center, raising his hand, stopping his comrades from moving. As Mito stepped right in front of him. Are you gonna let me talk to him or not? I just need to talk to him. Tell him that I just want to talk. He looked at her up and down. As he turned towards one of his men, before whispering something in his ear. The man nodded as he raced off. Your message has been delivered, but you are not allowed to pass this area. With a simple flick of his wrist, they were surrounded by a group. At least 10 of them. You will wait here, he said. Fine. Tell him to hurry. The man didn't listen to that as he simply backed away from her. A good 30 minutes later, as Mito was getting anxious, as he had been just waiting and waiting and waiting, and he hasn't been coming. She got to her feet. What's going on, she said. It has been... She paused, as someone was coming. To her surprise, it was not who she expected, but the person, well, surprised her. Yujito? Haku looked at her. As Sasuke remembered that name, she was the one that was living with them. The one that Naruto had taken after the invasion of Kumo. But what's going on? Where have you been this entire time? Your brother had took me after he left the village. I've been living here for the entire time. He took you? I thought that you fled and went back towards the hidden cloud. I knew you couldn't get past security seals. I knew someone had to release them for you to escape. So it was him. Yes. Where is he? I need to talk to him. We can talk and catch up later, but I need to talk to him now. We have to quickly move before this situation gets worse. I'm sorry, but he's not coming. What? He said that he doesn't want to talk to either of you. Haku lowered her head. She expected that. The only way why he wouldn't want to talk to them was if their talks were getting to him, which he was trying to deny. But I need his help. We just need information. There's a guy that took Hanabi. He said that he knows him. We need his help to find him, to find out who this guy is because we have no idea where he is. I'm sorry, Mito. Sorry won't help it, said Mito. I just need to talk to him. Please. Yujito lowered her head. He won't come. Then I'll find him myself, said Mito as she moved forward, only for her to be grabbed. As Yujito held on to her. I'm sorry. He gave me direct orders not to allow you to pass. As she was pushed back. Look, Yujito, you really don't want to get in my way now, said Mito, as her fist clenched. More ninjas landed. As Mito's eyes hardened. I made Hinata a promise, and none of you will stop me, she said. You should really get her under control, said Yujito, as she looked towards Kakashi. We were given orders not to hurt her, but now we were given orders not to let her pass. By any means necessary. As Mito looked at her, none of you are supposed to enter. Konoha has not been targeted yet. Do you really want to start something that you know you can't finish, he said. Kakashi clenched his fists as he saw all the ninjas around them tensing. Sasuke pulled out his blade as Haku got ready. Mito, fall back. What? We will find another way to find him. For now, fall back. She looked at Kakashi as he couldn't believe what he was saying. Just do it. As she saw that more ninjas were arriving, she wasn't afraid to go up against all of them. After all, she had been training for a reason. She had been pushing herself for the last 3 years, and with the power that she possessed now, she was confident enough that she could take them all by herself. But she understood what Kakashi meant. She turned towards Yujito. Make sure that you tell him that this guy, whoever he is, wants to destroy the world, and he's coming to kill him. If he wants to take over the world, this guy is going to destroy it, so there will be no world to take over if he doesn't help us. With that, the group fall back as Yujito watched him go before heading back towards the castle. Time skip. As Naruto was currently leaning back in his throne, his hand rested on the armrest. As he watched, Yujito entered. What happened? He said. She wanted to see you, but not for the reason that you think. They wanted your help because this guy attacked the Hidden Leaf, a guy that wants to kill you. They don't know who he is, but he said that he was going to destroy the world. She told me to tell you that. Your hopes of controlling it won't work if this guy destroys it. So she did not come here to bring me back. No, she just wanted your help to see if you know who this guy was. As Naruto got out of his throne, do you know who he is? I felt a strange flicker earlier. I don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't normal. This person, whoever he is, he's a descendant from Hamura. I can feel the power within him. It's the same. Naruto looked up, confused, as he walked towards the window as he saw something coming out of the sky. It crashed in the nearby forest. A huge explosion. What the hell was that? Said Yujito. As Naruto simply opened the window and jumped through. As he flew up to the top of the roof where he looked up in the sky. As he saw meteors dropping and crashing into the earth. Yujito climbed on the roof with him. What the hell is going on? She asks. It seems whoever this is, they're really trying to destroy the earth. Well, aren't you gonna stop them? She said. Because if they do destroy the earth, what will you have to rule? Well, that's not the point, said Naruto as he smirked. Then what is? Whoever this is, they must be strong. And it's gonna be fun, he said. Tell Karen to raise the barriers. What? Tell her to do it. Because whoever this person is, they're not fighting in the world. Seems like they're waiting for me outside. And this fight might get a bit destructive, he said. Tell her to put up the barriers, after all. Can't have my palace getting destroyed. He started to walk off. Be careful. He turned and looked at her. Who do you think I am? He asked. I know, just be careful. I'll be fine. I'm not talking about that, you're quite reckless. You always find a way to push things beyond the limits, just to ensure that you have a good fight. You were never worried about my well-being before. Why now? It's nothing, she said. As Naruto simply nodded. Well then, I'll be on my way. As he blurred out of sight, she lowered her head before she made her way back inside. As she went to go and find Karen, back at Konoha in the Hyuga compound, Hinata was currently sitting in front of her father. I should be out there, helping to find her. There's nothing they can do at the moment. Once they have a track on this guy, whoever he is, we will get her back, said Hayashi, as he looked at his only daughter that was here at the moment. Something walked past the study. As Hayashi turned his head, he got to his feet as Hinata turned her head, as the person just kept on walking straight towards Hanabi's room. The both of them exited his study. Naruto? Hinata was confused, as Naruto was just standing there. He looked back at her, before continuing. What are you doing here? Hayashi said, as this was rather confusing. How weren't they told that he was here? As Naruto turned back towards the man. You, he said. Before they could blink, he was upon the man in seconds, as he tapped Hayashi on the forehead, as the man fell down unconscious. Hinata caught her father before he could hit the ground. What are you doing? She said. Be quiet, he told her. He placed his hand on Hayashi's chest. As he closed his eyes, Hinata looked at him as she activated her Byakugan. He wasn't doing her father any harm. Instead, his chakra was searching his body. She knew that Mito went to go and find him, but he shouldn't be back here so quickly. Mito wasn't even back yet. He removed his hand from Hayashi's chest. Your sister was kidnapped, he said. Yes. Did Mito talk to you? She asked. As she was unsure what to do in this situation. She knew him, but she didn't know him that well. Mito was one of her closest friends, but she never really talked to Naruto that much. Back then she was afraid because of the way he just looked at people. It was quite intimidating. So she didn't really know what to say to him. He's trying to gain an advantage in this fight by gaining the Tensegan. Tensegan? She asks. He will need a pure Byakugan for those. I suppose your sister would do. Naruto simply smiled. This should be quite fun. But what are you gonna do? Hinata asks. I'm gonna fight him, of course. He wants me after all. He simply started to walk away. Wait, alone? She asks. Of course. Naruto, wait, where is this guy? The moon. The moon? Hinata said, confused. Yes, the moon, said Naruto as he started to walk off again. Wait. I know we've never really been close friends. I don't know why you left the village and did what you did. I don't know why you're acting this way, but can you please? She lowered her head towards the ground. Can you please bring my sister back? She asked. I'm begging you, she said. As Naruto looked down at her, he stooped down. As she lifted up her head, I really hate those eyes of yours, said Naruto, because the blood of Homura is strong in you. And your father as well. I felt it. So that is the only reason why he took your sister. For him to gain the Tensegan. And the only reason why you're not dead right now is because I hate him even more, given the fact that he's a close descendant to Homura. Hinata looked at him confused to what he was talking about, as she didn't understand. You wouldn't understand anything he said. As he slowly got to his feet, well, I guess this guy wants your sister as a prize with her eyes. So taking that away from him and watching him crumble down to his knees would be the best way to show him that he's still nothing, even the power that he's granted. So I'll bring your sister back. Thank you. Do not thank me, said Naruto. As he started to walk off, he had to get out of here. Seeing her eyes, just seeing the Byakugan, it pissed him off. And the only reason why she was not dead, it wasn't because of anything with Toneri. Well, Naruto didn't know his name, but it wasn't because of anything like that. The only reason why she was not dead was because she was Mito's friend. That was the only sane reason why she was not dead. That was the only reason why Konoha has not been taken over yet. Despite how much he tried to say that he didn't care about her, despite everything, he didn't want her to die like that. He didn't know why. These feelings from his past of her being his sister was coming up. But despite that, they would not stop him. This world would still be his. It doesn't matter if she liked it or not. She will have to hate him. At least she wouldn't die, but she's gonna hate him because he wouldn't stop. This world will be his. This world will belong to Naruto Otsutsuki soon enough. And everyone, every single one will bow. So, she was gonna hate him. But at least she wouldn't be dead. And with that, he was gone in the blink of an eye. As Hinata looked towards her father as he started to stir. She needed to report this to the Hokage. Meanwhile, Hanabi was fast asleep as she was kept in a state of perseverance. Her eyes were bandaged. Toneri had already took what he wanted as he now stood looking down towards the earth. The earth was surrounded by meteors, pieces of the moon that were broken off, ready to be launched down towards the earth to destroy it, to destroy everything and cleanse this world. He did not want to destroy the earth because he wanted to marry Hinata. With her help, he shall create a world of peaceful users of the Byakugan. Peaceful people that will not use chakra for the reason that everyone else has used it so far for war. A peaceful world. He will do what his ancestors failed to do. Yes, he will create a world of nothing but peace. And he will need her help for that. That is why he didn't launch everything down there. To have the entire place blow up and she might end up getting killed. That was something that he did not want. That is why he did not start anything yet. He clenched his fist tight as he could feel the newfound power coursing through his veins. With this power, he should be able to kill him. As his eyes showed brightly the Tensegon as they were just glowing as he looked down towards the earth. It was time. Meanwhile, as Naruto was standing in an empty waste field, as he bent his knees before shooting off like a missile, releasing more speed, an explosion went off behind him like an air current as he flew straight towards the moon. Meanwhile, "What?" said Mito. Where is he?" "He's gone," said Hinata, as she was in the office along with Team 7 and Snavy. Snavy wished that Jiraiya was here. This would be rather useful for him to hear, but he was not, as he was off gathering information. After all, they still had the Akatsuki to worry about when it comes towards Mito. I asked him to bring her back, and he said that he would. He said something about Hamura and descendants, but I don't know what he was talking about. Snavy shared a look with Kakashi, as Mito turned towards Snavy, wondering if she could. Snavy nodded. "If this involved Hinata, she should know." "Hinata, sit down. There is something that you should know." Meanwhile, as Naruto walked through a dimly lit chamber, as he never came up here before, he wondered why. Well, he never thought that there was descendants on the moon, but he felt a strange amount of power. Yes, it came straight up here. It was faint, but his eyes were strong enough to pinpoint where it came from and where it went. But that power had seemed to magnified a lot. It seems like he achieved what he wanted. That made Naruto simply smile more. With him gaining the Tensegon, that will make him stronger, and the battle will be more fun. As he kept on walking, suddenly, 3 little girls came out. They rushed towards him. Naruto did not stop walking, as all of them are crushed into the ground. "Stop wasting my time, and come out here and face me, before I end up blowing everything up, and just end your life before we even met." "I see. It's really you. You've talked like we met each other before." "No, we haven't. But I've heard stories." Toneri said as he came walking out, his blue eyes glowing menacingly. "I see you achieved what you wanted. You allow me to do this. I could sense you. So I can tell that you sense me as well. Even though you might not know that it was me, but... or what exactly it was, but you sense me. The power, you did it, right?" "Yes, I indeed sense you." "Then why did you allow me to achieve the power? What fun would it be if you were weak? I have trained hard for this very purpose. To be able to fight you on equal standings. To be able to beat you." Naruto started to laugh. "Who the hell do you think you are?" he asks. "No, scratch it. You're not important. You're just a no-name, off-brand, lesser than Osusuke. After all, when you think about it, you're not even half, probably quarter. And you think you can test someone like me? Me of all people. Don't you know what I am? You might have heard stories, but stories can't compare to what you can actually see. I hope you're a good fight. I really hope you are." Naruto turned his head. "First of all, though, I can't allow you to destroy the earth." As his eyes searched the area before he sped off. Toneri was shocked by the speed as he sped after Naruto. As Naruto entered the chambers, where the object was, he looked at it as it was bright golden. "So this is what you're using." He raised his hand, only for Toneri to use the gravitational pull, the power granted him by the Tensegon, to pull Naruto back. As Naruto's feet slipped on the ground a bit, before he waved his hand, the tile earth was torn apart, blown towards Toneri. With a simple wave of his hand, he blew it away, like he was never there. But Naruto already dropped his hand on the spear. He broke through it with ease. Toneri was shocked. he should figure after all. Only people that possess the power of Hamura could break through the spear. But they were brothers, so his power must be... Damn it. As Toneri watched his hope of destroying the world stop right there. All the pieces of the moon that had surrounded the earth start to fall, away drifting into space, not affecting the earth anymore. So that was your big plan, destroying the earth. Sorry buddy, but I can't allow you to do that. I'm gonna be ruling that place very soon. So yeah. It doesn't matter, Toneri said. Once I defeat you, there is no one on earth that can test the level of power that I possess. You think you're that strong, huh? Toneri looked at Naruto as he stepped back. The ground started to tremble and shake. What? Another puppet, Naruto asked. A giant stone hand exploded from the earth as it dropped down on Naruto. A massive creature emerged, the body looking like a large stone. It had a human appearance face, but the body was quite deformed. Two massive hands, one of them that just crushed Naruto under the weight. The thing was thrown back as it smashed into the corridor, destroying a large part of the room. Now that's what we're talking about, said Naruto, as his bloodlust started to rise. He shot forward as the beast dropped its hand on him, but Naruto caught it. He was slammed into the ground though by the force, but he blew out of it as he grabbed the thing claw's hand and twisted and threw it straight towards Toneri. Toneri had to move away as the thing destroyed the ground. The thing picked itself back up and moved towards Naruto as its fingernails launched towards him like giant spears of bullets. Naruto smashed his face into one of them and smashed his leg into the other, breaking to pieces. As he pulled out his staff from seemingly nowhere and slammed it into the third one before twisting and tossed his staff. It broke through the head of the golem and kept on going deep inside the thing's skull. As Naruto simply his finger and the thing exploded. A massive explosion blowing the thing to dust. Now that's what we're talking about. As long as you keep it going like that, I will enjoy this. Naruto was cut off as Toneri already powered up. A greenish ore surrounded him as he sent all the truth-seeking balls that was around him to slam into Naruto's stomach. Naruto was thrown off the palace as he was knocked into orbit. Toneri gathered the power in his hand as he pointed towards Naruto as he released a ball. The thing slammed within Naruto's stomach and exploded. The explosion was massive, but Toneri was not done yet as he fired a beam that cut through the air and slammed into Naruto. The force sent Naruto screaming down to earth as he broke through Earth's atmosphere. His entire body got lit up by flames from how fast he was going. At Kumo, everything was going well. People were going on with their normal life, normal day as they made their way. The Raikage was currently in his office. The machines have been going rather well. The testing had proved rather successfully lately. They haven't had a failed attempt lately. At the moment they currently had 25 in their possession, and they were working on more because once they get him out of the way and destroy the Otsutsuki Empire, after taking all of his riches, they will turn this on the rest of the world. And there will be only two major villages left behind, the Stone and Kumo, with the two of them taking over the world. There shouldn't be any arguments between them because there will be more than enough to share. Yes, everything was going wonderfully, until the Raikage noticed something. Given that Kumo was based on a mountain peak, as his tower was rather high, he was the first one to notice it. Something bright coming from the sky. He quickly got out of his chair and rushed towards his window when the thing came crashing down inside of Kumo. The ball of fire exploded right in the center of the village. Bodies were burned to a crisp. Innocent people and ninjas that were walking. Houses were blown to pieces. Shops were destroyed and torn apart, as it was a meteor that dropped in the center of the village. The entire village was shook up by that one simple boom. The people that did not fall in the attack quickly got to their feet, most of them stretched and bruised. The ninjas that weren't there in the center quickly started to rush over. The Raikage burst through his window as he landed on a makeshift bridge that linked his tower towards the other section of the village. He quickly looked down as Darue and C landing beside him. Yo boss, what's up? I don't know what it is, the Raikage says as he glanced down, as he didn't know what just fall inside of his country. A meteor perhaps, said C. That thought was put to a stop when they heard laughter. Unending laughter coming from somewhere. It was a hole. Another explosion as Naruto emerged out of it. His shirt was completely gone, as his skin was cut and torn in some places. But despite that and the blood leaking from his mouth, there was a big grin on his face. I haven't felt this alive since Homura. As he looked up in the sky, as his wound started to heal rather quickly, the Raikage looked towards him. It was him. Before he could move though, Naruto exploded out of the hole as he was gone, flying straight up in the air. Boss, was that? The Raikage clenched his fist in rage as he looked towards C. Get in contact with the Tishikage right now. We're doing this now, he said. Meanwhile, Toneri was shocked when Naruto simply flew back up to the moon. As he had healed, not even a stretch left on him, Naruto spat out the blood out of his mouth. I must say, I haven't been hit that hard since my fight with Homura and Hagoromo. You're quite strong. Quite strong indeed. But still, your power pale in comparison, and I want you to understand that. I'm just doing this because it's fun. As Toneri clenched his fists. Fun? You're doing this because it's fun? That was a big disappointment to him. After all, he had pushed himself, knowing that this day would come, and you have to prepare for it. But he was doing it because it was fun? Yeah. Let's start the mayhem, shall we? As Naruto paused, as a clone poof into existence beside him. Go find her, will you? The clone shoot off as Toneri looked towards it as he heard something whisper in his ear. You should never take your eyes off your opponent. His body was fast enough to react as both of their hands slammed together, creating friction that blew everything away from around them. As Naruto smiled, he ducked under a kick. He slapped away the leg and threw Toneri back. Toneri flipped as he landed on his hands. He twisted his body as he fired off several beams that slammed into Naruto's chest. Naruto smiled as he shot forward as he brought his heel down. Toneri twisted his head as Naruto's feet cracked the ground as he brought his other leg around. As Toneri jumped back, he held both of his arms out as two truth-seeking arms came. They turned into daggers as he tossed them. As Naruto created his staff and batted them to the side as he tossed it towards Toneri. Toneri twists under the staff as he rushed towards Naruto. The truth-seeking arms coming back as he held them in front of him. Silver wheel, truth-seeking explosion, he said, as he created a massive tornado. As Naruto held his hands up, you wanna talk attacks? Rods in destruction as he slammed his hands together. A literal mountain rooted itself out of the ground as it grew up, blocking Toneri's attack. The mountain then came over as it started to fall. Toneri had to fly back fast as the mountain digged through the section of the palace. Ah, you survived, said Naruto, as he looked at Toneri. Toneri shot forward as their fists connected once again. As Toneri moved back, he looked at Naruto as he realized something. You're stalling. Why? He asks. Or perhaps you're just too weak, said Naruto. Toneri realized that Naruto didn't have his eyes activated. Normal golden eyes looked back at him. As Toneri clenched his fists before the ground rooted up underneath Naruto. As Naruto was swallowed by the massive beast that reformed itself out of stone. You again? The voice came from the beast's mouth. From its stomach, really. Boom! An explosion tore it open as the thing fell over. Toneri lifted up all the rocks and showered them towards Naruto as they slammed into him hard, slamming him into the ground. And it's over, Toneri said as he raised his hand in the air A bright golden beam was created like a sword. Back on Earth, everyone watched as Hinata had told them that Naruto was going to the moon. So at the moment, as it was currently nighttime, they could literally see the moon. And something was on top of it. Something large and golden. Golden wheel. Rebirth explosion, Toneri said as he brought it down. Right where Naruto had landed, the thing slammed into him. But it didn't stop there. It sliced the entire moon into half, tearing the moon apart. Right down the middle, it split it. Back on Earth, the Raikage, the Kishikage, everyone is alerted. Mate Harumi, who was currently the Mizukage, well, if you could even call it that, seeing that she had to answer to these people that Naruto sent here. The Osusuke Empire had taken over the entire land of water, and she could not fight against him. She did not have the strength to manpower, as her people were still weakened after the fight. Yes, after the Civil War, so she did not have the strength to go up against him. But she was just buying her time, waiting for the right opportunity to take him down. Because at the moment she could not really do anything, so she had to buy her time. As she looked up as well as she saw the moon split, Jiraiya was currently making his way. As he paused, "What the hell?" he said. Meanwhile, Toneri looked down. Finally, he said, "It's over." "Then why am I still here?" Toneri turned in surprise when he saw Naruto, but he could tell that this wasn't the real one, holding on to young Hanabi, as he was carrying her off. It was his clone. "How are you? You know, Yujito was right. Sometime in a fight I really get too reckless. After all, letting your beam hit me on purpose. I was quite reckless for doing that. What if I had died?" A laughter could be heard. Just kidding. But it's quite funny, isn't it? As Naruto tore himself out of the trench that Toneri had created. Well, the middle of the moon where Toneri had split. As Naruto stepped out, Toneri stepped back in shock as he saw blood on Naruto's shoulder. The blood started to go back into the wound like it was reversing, like time itself was reversing. Naruto cracked his neck. "You know, I thought you would do more damage, so I stepped in the way of your attack. I want to see if it would actually take me down. I know, it sounds quite stupid, isn't it? But I just want to see if you were worth my time. And I must say you have disappointed me. You are nowhere near Homura's level. He was able to put up a better fight. But you're quite weaker. I didn't know if it was because you stole the ice or what, but still, you're not at the level that Homura was at. So how do you possibly think you can beat me? I wonder if it's not you and if it's me. I mean, my body has been infusing with so much chakra for years now. With my chakra being chopped within that cube, my power has been growing non-stop for decades now. So I wonder if I'm just too strong for everything. And I really hate that because where will the challenge be? It's like I'm gonna have to find literal gods to have some fun. Because you really disappoint me," said Naruto, as he cracked his neck. Toneri watched as Naruto's eyes change. "But I suppose it's my turn." As Naruto looked towards his clone, "Go," he said. The clone covered Hanabi in his chakra, the silver chakra covering Hanabi tight. Before, he simply leaped off the destroyed moon. As he started to rocket back down to Earth, his entire body also covered in silver chakra. He cracked his neck as his Raiden Sharingan was on full view. "You call this destruction? You want to see real destruction?" Naruto held out both of his hands as he brought them together. "Black hole," he said. As the words meant exactly what he implied. A black distortion started to twist within his palms as he released his hand before stepping back. He then slammed his hand together. Erupt. Toneri felt his body being distorted and pulled towards that thing as he started to back away. The moon itself was being torn apart. Rip, his entire castle was being torn and teared apart. Toneri stepped back in fear as he saw everything was being destroyed. He tried to move, but his body was being yanked. He quickly powered up to his fullest his entire body cloak glowing even brighter as he flew back, breaking out of the gravitational pull. He watched with amazement as Naruto flew off the moon as well, as both of them stood there. Toneri looked down as he watched the entire thing pull and distort, breaking and tearing. The entire moon was ripped apart, torn even worse than what he did. All debris, all destruction was torn and brought into the black hole. Before, Naruto snapped his finger as it exploded. Debris was shot everywhere as most of it went straight toward the earth. Naruto slammed his hands together, distort. The air in front of him warped as the stone was grind into dust. All of the meteors that were supposed to fall on earth was turned into dust, distorted, as it simply blew away, drifted into space. Toneri stood there, still floating in mid-air, completely shocked by what just happened. I told you, stop being so distracted. He turned, BAM! His entire left jaw was caved in by the force. Toneri lost sight in his left eye as everything went white. BAM! A fist connected in his stomach as Naruto twisted and brought his heel down as the kick slammed in Yuri right through Earth's surface and he was sent sailing, his body picking up speed. He cried out as his back started to burn. The fire from breaking through Earth's atmosphere at that speed. He smashed into the earth as Naruto dropped from the sky like a meteor. Boom! As he landed right into Toneri's stomach. Toneri coughed out blood as all the air was knocked out of him. As Toneri could only see out of his right eye. He winced as Naruto got off of him. You disappoint me, Toneri. I know I can heal and all, but you can heal as well. So why are you like this now? As Naruto sighed, it really seems I'm gonna have to find someone stronger to fight. Because you people are disappointing me. And I told you. As Naruto grabbed him by the throat and picked him up. Not to disappoint me. You're nothing but a failure. You spend all of your time training and getting stronger. Only to steal the eyes of that little girl. Trying to get stronger by using her eyes. Because you're so pathetic you can't even hope to reach that power by yourself. And yet you thought you could beat me. You, a runt, a low-level, pathetic runt, thought you could ever stand up to me, a god. You don't even know what you're dealing with, do you, boy? Say Naruto. I failed, Toneri said. Yes, you failed, and you disgust me. As Naruto reached up with his other hand, snapped as he broke Toneri's neck. He created another clone. As he watched Tensegon leave Toneri's eyes, return this back to the Hyuga girl. Let Hayashi and Tsunade know that me doing them this favor, when I come to Konoha, they shouldn't even give me a second talk. They should just bow down. The clone nodded as he picked up Toneri's dead body to bring it back. As Naruto paused, where the hell was he? He heard a whistling sound as he turned to block whatever was coming at him, only to have his arm blown clean off. As the beam touched his arm, tearing it right off. Something ripped right through his stomach, leaving a big gaping hole. What the hell? But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want something spoilers to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications get posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.